people CMM per se, if you really look at the current context on the supply side of people, there are some hygiene factors which are absolutely essential. The hygiene factors have to do with, compensation levels. And, in a services-oriented industry, those compensation levels have to be completely aligned with the industry. And, CMM actually gets you to benchmark your compensation with others in the industry, and you peg your compensation levels so that at least that one factor is something which is out of the equation. What it helps you with is going beyond that to deal with the unique motivational characteristics of technical resources and people in software organization. And that has to do with the ability of the individual to develop themselves and the ability of the individual to move in their careers through creating what is called a competence framework. And I think these are some very, very important processes that need to be implemented in highly people-intensive organizations. So I would not agree that people CMM is gone by the wayside, but it's tremendously useful for software companies.
Can I just add one comment? I think if you look at the CMM as well, I think it came in at a time of maturity where you had to tell people that we have quality processes, right? And hence we all went in for CMM and so on. Today, if you speak, and I'm sure there are many of our customers out in the hall, right? They really do not want us to be putting up slides saying, I got CMM, so it's given. So I think whether it was PCMM or CMMI or BS15000 or whatever else that we do, I think it's more to get our own disciplines in. It did become a big movement, so I don't think it's died. Yeah. I don't think we today read in newspapers about which company got the CMM level 3 or CMM level 5 certification. It used to be there 4 years back. So I think it's there because if it's good, it's there, right? The need for its visibility used to be because we had to prove ourselves, and it's gone. I think customers now want to see what value you add, how well you deliver it, rather than having some ticks across.
Thanks, Sam.
My name is Venki. I'm from Keen. My question is to the panel, when you look at the issues of resources, the retention, the attrition, the salary increases, the wage pressures, and looking at the growth rates of 40%, 50%, this one, how long do you think we can sustain these growth rates? And what do you think will be the stumbling blocks to maintain these growth rates?
That's an excellent question. Who would like to take it on? Sustainability of growth.
I can start. It's real. First is, I think it's sustainable because there's a market. And as long as there is a market, right, we get that business and we can sustain it. I think there are two issues that I would think are real issues. One is just the way our education system here can support us. It was the education system which made this industry because we had some great resources coming in. And I think we would question now, are we spending and investing enough in the education to pump in the growth rate? And mind you, when you talk about 40% 5 years back versus 40% right now, you're really talking 200% based on that base then. So it's a different ramp up you're talking about. That's one. Second, I think the problem of that sustainability will be all of us, right? If we start believing, and our colleagues and where they work start believing that we are superpowered, we are dominant, we have reached the levels there, and we stop learning. And you see somewhere when you talk about your youngsters, they do believe that, they've come into this industry, it's a great place. And sometimes you worry that have they stopped learning. So I think there are one about education, the other is fairly internal. And I think we need to be cautious on both of them. On the former one, I think NASSCOM itself is working very closely with the government and educational institutions, and I'm sure that's something that we can change, and the change is happening. The other one is I think we have to be, as industry, be cautious and ensure that we're correcting it.
I'm just going to jump in real quick. What you just mentioned is one of the dark sides of what we would call the dark side of we'll call it the India IT services, because there's no question that if you look at the data that costs are on the increase. At the same time, the customers out there are absolutely applying pressure because they're seeing the margins that are coming forth, that they're reading about. So that is one of the dark sides of it. So how does it get managed? And well, that's again, it's not a silver bullet answer. However, the growth rates, when will this come to an end? The question is when will the cost benefit, curve start to cross back over where customers are going to be looking for alternative business models, which gets into why a global delivery model, a flexible global delivery model is fundamental to sustainability for an organization, which is hence why Perot Systems is focused globally, in terms of being able to deliver onshore, offshore, and nearshore. But again, it's a dynamic. There's no question. It's a dynamic that has to be dealt with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.